Hi, how are you? Welcome to All Hands on Deck Tarot. Uh, we're going to do a fire sign reading, okay? Fire sign. Aries Leo Sagittarius. Say your name properly, right? It matters. Aries Leo Sagittarius. Fire signs. The ones that bring the spark, that get things moving, put things into action. Earth signs, they like to, keep things steady and slow. The air signs like to think and talk quickly. The water signs are very emotional. Their heart, they're passionate from their emotions. The fire signs, you guys get things started with action. You make things move forward. It's Mercury retrograde right now. Maybe I'd like some movement forward. So I'm leaning on you, fire signs. My Venus is Aries, so that's my fire. Okay. Whatever I get passionate about, I'm very strong about. Knight of Cups. Okay, so that's on the bottom. Incoming offer of emotions from a young person. Let's see what's in the middle. The crisscross. Knight of Rods and the King of Pentacles. So we came up from a knight to a king. Knight of Rods. There you go, fire sign. King of Pentacles. So the Knight of Rods, bringing in his wand, his passionate fire stick, ready to move things forward. And the King of Pentacles, the one who moves slowly, the one who collects all and everything comes to him, and he collects property and valuable possessions. He's a king, where this is a knight, a younger one. So maybe this is two sides of the same person. Maybe there's a very steady, money-oriented, stable, slow earth sign quality to a person, and then the other side that's fiery, that wants to move forward, that likes action, that has a younger stance. So that's the crisscross of this reading. The Knight of Rods also, I want to say, traveler. Yeah. Relative or distant friend, new residence, sudden departure. So there's movement, like I said, forward, and physical, actual movement. Maybe traveling, moving, not just talking about it, not just thinking about it, actually moving forward. And maybe that's with this earth sign, maybe this, because if you know your chart, you know where you have what in your chart. Let's see what's on the bottom. This has been part of this story already. 10 of Rods. This has been a burden for somebody. So 10 of Wands. Overcoming a burden, because there's 10 of them, so it's done. It's moving forward away from that. So to carry a heavy burden for 10 months, 10 years, being the beast of burden for all the stuff, somewhere along the line you get to a point where, like, you know what? That's it. I can't do this anymore. Or I've timed this out and I need to move on. Or, I can't bear this weight anymore that people are putting on me. Like, whatever the situation is, this 10 of Wands, it's done. It's final. It's time to move on. 10 of Rods. Ooh. So, hold on. Cleaning. Improvement, elimination of small problems, liberation from heavy bonds. Yeah, there's something that's got to come to an end. That's been too heavy, too much, too connected, too burdensome, that it's time to move away from. And let's see what the other book says. I like to have different versions. One who is carrying an oppressive load, either mentally or physically. His heart is tried by pain, ruin of all plans and projects, complete disruption and failure. That's pretty heavy. So one who's overburdened. But see, I like this other interpretation better. That's why I read it. Cleaning, improvement, elimination of small problems, liberation from heavy loads. So it's time to let it go and move on. It's the end of a heavy burden that's no longer part of your life, fire sign. It's time to move forward. Movement forward. Yeah, the Knight of Wands. Movement forward. With a steadiness, with a calculated steadiness of, having enough possessions, property, income. The movement forward only comes through with the steadiness of the stability, because the burden is overwhelming and it's done. It's time to move forward. This will be the card in the placement of it's here, but now it's on its way out. And here we have the King of Swords. So we have an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, a person who seeks the truth. This is an educated person who has conversations, who has the sword of truth in their hand. It's a king. So we have two kings. One of earthly possessions and stability, and one of movement, one of higher level thinking. One who brings conversations to the foreground. One who seeks truth. One who's educated. So cutting through things to get to truth, bringing up conversations that need to be said. It's already happened, maybe, because this is on its way out. So maybe you've already started a conversation, or maybe somebody started a conversation with you, fire sign, to try to bring truth out. An educated person has tried to speak to you about some things. Next up, what we have? Future. Ace of Swords. So not only we have the King of Swords, we have a powerful spiritual offering of truth, of swords cut. They're defensive or they're aggressive. They bring mental clarity. They bring communication. They bring thoughts. And this is a spiritual hand offering a powerful beginning of communication. I don't think there's any way around that conversation, fire sign. Victory. It also says victory. Dynamism, spirit of conquest, success achieved through quick and decisive action. So yeah, this Knight of Wands that's coming in to move things. This King of Swords that's bringing truth. This spiritually guided, powerful beginning of truth comes after an offering of love, an emotional offering. Comes with the stability of possessions and the slow, steady character of an earth sign. It's Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. After a hell of a burden that's been carried around, fire sign, a hell of a burden that now you put down. But there's a powerful new beginning in truth that has to come forward now. There's no way around it. Literally. Beginning of a conquest or victory. The birth of a child who could be a valiant leader. The ability to both love and hate with ardor. The seeker might become a champion in some field of endeavor. See, love and hate with ardor. See, because you have the two-edged sword, like I said, aggression and defense. It's the way we communicate with each other. You give, you expect to get back. You speak, you expect the person to speak back. It's communication. Sometimes that's not so easy. Sometimes it takes a lot of power to bring out truths. Power within ourselves, to admit our truth to ourselves, to accept our truths about ourselves, to accept truths about situations, and let the the truth spur the action forward that's going to change things, you know. Next up, future, the devil. Okay, so here we go again. This is Earth signs Capricorn. We got Capricorn next to this Earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. The devil, you know, earthly temptations, heavy sexual indications, being tied to things that you're bonded to, that you think you can't live without, that you need here on this world, this earthly plane, you know. You need to spend money, you need to smoke, you need to drink, you need to shop, you need to have sex. Like the things that we believe that we need, that we're connected to. This is a major arcana card. What else we got? Fire sign. So you got some truths coming out, but some of that truth has to do with some addiction, some toxic behavior, highly sexual things, bondage, you know, maybe some things that aren't really up and up. In the fear placement, the Ace of Cups. Okay, so there's a lot of love on the table. Maybe the conversation has to do with love. Maybe there's a lot of love at stake if you do move forward with the conversation about truth. Ace of Cups, spiritual hand, offering a huge cup of emotion. It's running out of that cup. It's so full. Love, fear, kindness, forgiveness, gentleness, desire, all the things are emotions. It's in the fear place. So fire sign, you got some fears about this big cup of love, huh? Okay. This one keeps wanting to show itself. Four of Pentacles, holding on. Another earth sign, holding on to what you have. Next one up is the highest, how people see this around you, the High Priestess. So she's an intuitive scholar. She studies, she keeps quiet, she thinks, she figures things out by herself, to herself. This is how the situation's being seen. So somebody's figuring things out, maybe about the truth, maybe about the burdens, maybe about the devious behavior, you know, maybe about the powerful beginning of truth. Somebody has an inclination because they're perceptive. And this is how somebody sees this situation. Next, highest hopes and desires, the Seven of Swords. That's a survival card. You know, it's taking what's not yours. It's trying to make your way through a difficult situation. It's also privacy issues. I know this card comes up as intrusion into privacy. So maybe this truth, you know, is an intrusion into somebody's privacy that they keep guarded. Hey, fire sign, I don't know. How much is the conversation worth to you? Seven of Swords. Again, this is air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is conversation. This is speaking. This is communication. But it's in a devious way. It's in a trying to get away with things. The moon's up there. You know, he looks like he's taking stuff that isn't his. Who needs seven swords? Of course, they're not all his. But I know this card is associated with trying to survive and with intrusion into privacy matters. So I'm thinking that this truth that's desired, this conversation, it might be a little much. Might be a little much for somebody. Next up, final card, Justice. So there again we have a sword in there. So truth is coming through. There are words that will be spoken, there are decisions that will be made, and they will be balanced, and they will bring justice to the situation. You know, it started off with a little cup of love, a little offering of love being brought in by a young person, and it went to a fiery start in a new direction, a beginning from a young person with the solidarity, the solidness of an earth sign holding down the ground while the younger counterpart moves forward with a passionate, fiery beginning. after a huge burden that's no longer able to be held, with another player who wants truth, who wants to bring truth, who's educated and likes to talk and wants to make things move forward with conversations, higher level thinking, with spirit coming in saying, yes, there will be a powerful new beginning in truth that will move things forward. Decisive action happening quickly. And then the devil's here, the Capricorn card, the, temptation, the bondage to material things of this world. All the needs we have and the things that, we think we're supposed to have in this life that we're trapped by. Because when you don't need anything, you're free. When you need something, you have to go chasing it all the time. You don't need anything. Buddhist monks, all they have is the Bible. They don't have anything else. They don't need anything else. Fear, a whole lot of love, whole lot of emotions, whole lot of it brought by the hand of spirit. But it's scary. Somebody knows some things. They've gone inside, they've thought about it, they keep things to themselves, and somebody's trying to get away with some things that aren't on the up and up. Somebody's trying to find out some truth, somebody's trying to hide some truth, seems like to me. But then justice prevails. It always does. Justice always prevails in the end. You can hide things for a while, but eventually they will come to light. I don't care if it's a decade later, 2 decades later, 3 decades later, 4 decades later, 5 decades later, 6 decades later. It doesn't matter. Eventually, things come to light. How to deal with that. I always like to turn the last card on the top of the deck over. 3 of Cups. So this is, joyful merriment, celebration. So that's good. So, after the conversation, after the burden's been set down and the truth comes out and the fiery start happens and there's already been stability established and a decision to move forward with love and passion, with the highly sexual temptation issue that's already here, with a lot of love and insight and empathy and introspection, with some invasion into privacy. Somebody's trying to survive, and maybe the conversation's going to, delve into some things that are private. But eventually the truth's going to come out. And then there's going to be celebration. So that's what we're going with, okay, fire sign? Is there anything else in this fire sign reading that we need to help clarify? Because it seems as though, yeah, that one? Okay, hold on. What we got? The Magician, air sign, elemental air. So I was going to say there's a lot of air on the table with the King of Swords and the Ace of Swords. The High Priestess, she's water. She's a water sign. She's the moon. So again, she represents things that are hidden. This is a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Swords are always about truth, about communication, about higher level thinking. There's justice, there's privacy issues, there's spirit helping with a brand new beginning that's going to move forward, that's fiery and quick moving with action. There's a king, a person who holds male energy that brings forward truth, that's very educated and seeks, is an authority, seeks communication to find truth. And then again, here we have air, another air sign card, the person who manifests. They have all the tools they need to bring to fruition the things in their life. Magician is air. So again, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, ruled by Mercury. Right now we're Mercury retrograde. So, Mercury, who rules Gemini and Virgo, and it's the quick moving communication, transportation planet, is slowed down, going backwards. But this magician's still here, trying to manifest things with their sword, with their tools. They have the earth, fire, water, and air elements. But it's still an air sign, so we're still talking about communication. So this is a communication issue that's going to have to be dealt with. That's been a burden for a long time. I want to say 10 years. 10 months, 10 weeks, but long time, 10 years. And I think it has to do with an earth sign who has fire in their chart, or a fire sign who has earth in their chart. And they're dealing with another person who's a strong communicator, who's a strong competitor, who's another force to be dealt with. And Spirit's coming in and saying this is going to move forward with fiery, decisive action. But there's going to be some, devilish tie-ins. There's some devilish tie-ins here. Things that aren't, pure and on the up and up. There's some things here that aren't pure. They aren't of the light. And that brings fear, because there's love here. It brings fear about the love. And there's somebody who knows, who's very introspective and knows that things aren't quite right. And this conversation is going to bring an invasion of privacy feeling to somebody who's trying to survive. But justice is going to be served. Justice, that's the Libra card. Another air sign. Three of Cups is emotions. You've got your Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. So you have merriment and joy and drinking and three women together celebrate. So you have a celebration card after all of this. And more communication, more manifestation of the things you want. But it's going to come through air. It's going to come through communication. It's going to come through higher level thinking. That's what it's going to come through, fire sign. Anything you want right now, the justice you seek, it's going to come through communication. And we are in Mercury retrograde, so it's going to be slow. Nothing's going to move quickly right now. All right, well, thank you for being here. Hope this helps.